I'm not gonna answer your questions, or I haven't had a chance to review this. I think it's important to reiterate what I just stated, that we don't arrest people unless we have probable cause that they violated a Florida state statute or City of Orlando ordinance, or unless they have a warrant signed by a judge. So I'm not gonna sit in here like deposition style and answer your questions about this. I mean, if you guys want to have a candid conversation, a meeting about this, I'm definitely happy to listen to you. But like I said, I haven't had a chance to review this, and I don't know that we would adopt something like this without further review.
So I've had a chance to see the 9 points. I haven't had a chance to talk to the chief about them. We have policies and procedures in place, and so I think it would be premature and inappropriate for us at this point, without having had discussions about the 9 points, to kind of make statements or come to conclusions about whether they apply to the City of Orlando, whether we can agree to those points, or come to any sort of conclusions about it. So I guess I'm just not sure what the best way to go about this is, but I'm not sure going over the 9 points and asking the chief to make a statement about those right now is the best way to do it.
All right. Well, then let's be more brief. One of the things that I personally would like to see is an efficient use of police resources. And with the Trump administration exerting pressure on local police agencies to essentially join the federal force, for lack of a better phrase right now, that's not an efficient use of our local resources.
Well, I guess the question is, what does the chief think about it?
Yeah, but that's a legal issue about what the role that local law enforcement can play with regard to immigration. I know the chief has stated what he's experienced over the past 26 years in our policies and procedures. But that specific question, especially in relation to the new administration, is a legal question. That the city attorney, we're all looking into it, and we're working on our response at this point in time.
I do have a question just about, I'm not very well versed in, policing in city versus county versus the state. So what differentiates, how do you differ in how you function as opposed to like the Orange County Sheriff's Department?
Well, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is not really a good example because they don't run the jail. Most sheriff's offices run their own jail. So actually the Sheriff's Office operates much like we do. They're the exact same way. I'm very familiar with that agency. So the difference between many sheriff's departments, aside from Orange County and us, is that they run their own jail. So when someone is arrested, ICE may ask for a detainer on that person, and as you see, it differs across the country and the state and counties. Some have a 48-hour hold and some don't. So the city police departments, we don't get involved, and we don't have our own jail. So that's the biggest difference. We don't have our own jail, so we can't arrest anyone for anything involving immigration, and we don't even know about the ICE detainers. That's all done through the jail. So that's the biggest difference, I would say.
But with the exception that if you get a warrant, if there's a federal warrant, the feds come to ask for help.
If there is a warrant signed by a judge, we would take that person into custody just like we would any other warrant. But that's a warrant, not a detainer.
Right.
Does it depend on what type of warrant it is? If it's a felony? Or
No, if it's so typically, depending on the warrant, usually for state warrants, they'll say, a lot of times we get state warrants from Georgia. They'll say it's a misdemeanor, and they will or they will not extradite. So, but if we get a federal warrant, which is going to be for a felony, we will take that person in custody, regardless of the charge.
And I think a town hall meeting about all this, I think would be helpful.
Like I said, I can't speak for the mayor or any of our city council people. I can just tell you that here for the Orlando Police Department, we're just not dealing with those same issues because we can't hold people for a detainer like the jail can or does. So, and as far as warrants for arrest, so when, say the officer, they run someone through the system and the warrant comes up for robbery, the officer's not going to know the specifics of the robbery of the charge. They're just going to have the charge, the person's name, and verify that, and then they took the person into custody. That person goes to see a judge, and that's where all that is worked out. So, for the officer to know exactly why they have a warrant for perjury is not reasonable, and that's why we have the system we do. So.
So you don't know whether it's a major crime or something?
We'll know what the crime is: robbery, burglary, murder, shoplifting, and the officer will take that person into custody. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a warrant from another jurisdiction or another police department or another state. So that person will be taken into custody. They'll be taken to the jail, and then the jail will deal with them, and they'll see a judge, and that's all. So once our officers take them into custody, if they have a warrant signed by a judge and release them to the jail, we're kind of out of it.
May I ask, just because of my own ignorance, who runs the jail, and if there's someone there that our group could contact?
Well, here in Orange County, the jail is run by Cornita O'Reilly, and she answers to Orange County government. So that would be the Orange County mayor and the Orange County commissioners.